Hi, Cindy. Welcome to the show.
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Nice to see you. You're over there in Arizona, aren't you?
I am. Cold, sunny Arizona.
Wow. It's sunny here too in Nova Scotia, and it's a little cool, but that's to be expected.
Well, you are north and cold. You
Yeah,
must get a lot of snow there.
we do. We do. But that's just the way it is in Canada.
Yeah.
So, Cindy, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and what caused you to write this book?
Well, I actually worked in the corporate world for 15 years in logistics and computer software consulting. And I was at a office meeting and I had done a flow chart of the existing business process and then how they could change their business process to fit their current software. And I was told by the woman that I was hired, I was a contractor, and she said he hated it. And I thought, oh, well, I thought that was a little weird, but okay. And then we're having a meeting, and I went to close his office door. And when I closed his office door, he had put my flow sheets on the back of the door. And then I realized she was lying to me. And then I said, okay, I've had enough. I can't be doing this anymore. I need to do something different. I don't want to be bickering with everyone over everything. So I decided to start doing A Course in Miracles. It's a self-help book on forgiveness. And you have to understand that the forgiveness you give means you understand no one has done anything wrong. That's a hard concept to get, by the way. And I'm 16 years into the studying it and reading it and doing the exercises. And about 18 years ago, I started getting inspirational sayings. They just started coming to me fast, 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 fast. And I couldn't write them down fast enough. And I don't know, about a year ago, I said, I should do something with all those inspirational sayings that I have on napkins and pieces of paper and stuff like that. So I put it into a book. And what ended up happening is the book grew to more than inspirational sayings, to four-line verses, to answers to questions you didn't know you had, to meditations and reflections. And what the book does is it teaches you to understand and recognize the difference between love and fear. And because fear is very pervasive in our lives and we are not aware of it. We think we are, but we aren't. And until you start to understand the components of fear, and then you go, oh, I didn't know that was fear, you can't make the step next to love. And once you are love, then you just shine bright. And I have people nowadays, I don't know who they are. They walk by with a big smile on their face and they say hi to me. They were grumpy before they saw me, and afterwards got this big smile on their face. And I'm thinking, I don't know who they are. I just smile back, say hi, and sometimes people just come up and talk to me, and I'm like, okay, I'll talk to you. One guy said, I haven't seen you in years. I don't know who he was. I have no idea, but I went along. People sort of sense that light or the happiness or something. This book actually gets you that way. All you have to do is read it front to back, no skimming and no whizzing through. And you read the book and you'd be surprised at all the changes that happens in your life. I'm surprised at all the changes that have happened in my life.
Since writing the book?
And reading it multiple times.
Love and fear. Can we break that down? Speak about love first and what you feel that is. What is love?
Love is kindness, compassion, gratitude. It is a knowing that no matter what, everything is going to be okay. It is believing you are always safe and protected. It is the ability to always ask for help. That's a hard one for a lot of people. I mean, I'm constantly asking for help from my higher guidance. And I use the term God because I'm a student of A Course in Miracles. However, I don't use it in a religious sense. I just use it to represent the source, the creator, my higher self, whichever term people like. Doesn't matter to me. It's somebody bigger than myself, a presence that's greater than myself. And I'm learning to take that guidance so much easier than when it first happened. When it first happened to me, I had a workman here and he said everything changes, and I had this push like on the back of my neck to say love doesn't change, and I thought I can't do it. It was this like nagging little feeling that like, okay, I got to say something. I said love doesn't change. He started chuckling and said, that is really good, I have to tell my wife. It started a number of years ago, and now sometimes I'll go, you really want me to say that? They're like, say that. Okay, I'll say it. Sometimes, because I'm the type of person that kind of needs to be hit by the side of the head to get it
Yeah.
sometimes, and obviously other people are like that. And sometimes other people need a very sweet, gentle word or two. It's but kindness is something that there's two different types of kindness as well. There's the kind of kindness where you give for the sake of giving, just because it's something you can do to help someone. There's a type of kindness where you give but expect something in return. That's not kindness. That's manipulation, because you want attention. You want to be put on a pedestal. You want to appear bigger and better than the other person, that you helped them. You did something for them and now they owe you something. Not kindness. People will call that kindness, but it isn't.
Mm. Yeah. What made you go so deep to be able to unearth these very important thoughts?
I was always a very depressed child. I really was. I know that's hard to imagine right now. I also was very shy, even more hard to imagine. People laugh when I say that. Um, and I liked hibernating. I was raised, be seen, not spoken to. You don't speak. You just sit there, look pretty, don't say anything. One day I just said, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't. There's got to be a better way. This is probably a 40-year process to come out of the depression, and I didn't go see anybody, a psychologist or anything. Might have been faster than 40 years. But, I just decided there had to be a better way. And what do? I always have very strong intuition. I was kind of born with that. And when I was young, I'd be 10 years old and adults would be asking me questions and wanting me to give them an answer. So I gave them an answer. I didn't know 10-year-olds weren't supposed to do that, but I
Mm.
did it anyways. Then I'd get ridiculed afterwards for it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like this oxymoron that happens. So basically, I was always a depressed child, and I I just decided one day I can't do this anymore. There's got to be a better way.
Very good. I like that. Sometimes when people get to, I'll just say my age, they may think, is that all there is? But you determined there's got to be a better way.
There has to be a better way. There is.
Yeah. Let's talk about fear. One would think that the opposite of love would be hate, but you chose to use the word fear. Can you explain that?
I Yes, I chose to use the word fear because human beings are only capable of two emotions. We are capable of love or fear. Fear has many, many names: jealousy, judgment, anger, individuality, competition. These are all elements of fear. And the list goes on. And I actually define those in my book. I define what judgment is. I define what individuality is, what's competition. And once you understand what these elements are, you can then move yourself out of fear. You will be divinely guided. When, there are no affirmations in this book. There are no self-help protocols that you have to do. You just read the book. It comes with guidance, and what happens is it opens you up to your true potential and your true self. And by opening yourself up, more light comes out. You follow the guidance and you get to where you need to be. It's not always a case of want, because we don't ever really know what it is we want. Sometimes we think we do. Say we want a bigger house. We get the bigger house. We don't realize that's more maintenance, costs more money to maintain. The prestige maybe didn't come with it that you thought it would. You know, there's a whole lot of things there that people don't think about. I want a bigger house because society says I'm going to be important if I have a bigger house. Well, that's a fear statement.
Interesting. In a society like you and I live in, where it promotes individuality and, stand up for yourself and be the real you that you are and all that, how is individuality fear?
Because we think we are separate. We think that being an individual makes us important. Everyone wants to feel special. Everyone wants to be important. Everyone wants to be heard. But they're coming from a place of ego. They're not coming from a place of love. And when you come from a place of ego, the individuality forces you to do things you wouldn't normally do. It's like the story I heard one time of people climbing up Mount Kilimanjaro. Um, Someone was dying at the side of the mountain, but nobody would stop to help, because if they stopped, they wouldn't make it to the top. Well, the reality is that's the ego self saying, I can't help, I have to get to the top. That's the individual. The soul self would have said, let me help this person. It's not important that I get to the top. I need to help this person if I can.
Hmm.
There's a big difference between the two.
You're living in a part of the world where right now there's a great deal of upheaval and people calling each other names and just nonsense. Real hatred, it seems like people are so angry.
People are angry because they feel like they aren't getting something they want. That's where the anger comes from. They feel that someone should give them something, or they worked hard and they didn't get what they wanted. It's all about they and them. The truth is, there's no they or them, there's only themselves. And every person is responsible for their own actions and their own thoughts. And the way to change that is to start to recognize there has to be a better way. You have to start with something. You'll have an inkling of discontentment. Maybe your life isn't going the way you wanted. The discontentment is what motivates you to start to change. Now, I say that, but a lot of people go further the other way, further into fear. Not everyone wants to be helped.
Mhm.
Not everyone is ready to be helped. You can only help the people who want to be helped. Now, I will say something I've learned over my lifetime is I say things to people that's helpful, and literally weeks to months later, they get it. And they're repeating back to me exactly what I said to them. Did you know? But they don't remember I said it. I'm the one who's had to grapple with that for a long time because I'm not getting credit. Well, then I realized I don't need credit. They are heard the message, maybe not in the time frame I think they should have heard it, and that's not my judge. That's a judgment. That's a fear. That's not what I should be doing. I should just impart the message and then leave it to the higher persons to take care of when and how they hear the message. It's not my job
Yeah.
to take care of that.
Once you understand these things, it doesn't mean you're, as you say, perfect. You're never gonna hit the plate those dark places, but you'll be able to pull yourself out of it a whole lot easier than if you were just lost in that dark place.
And many people are lost in that dark place. They're very lost. They don't know how to get out. I call it like being stuck in a cave and crawling yourself out of this deep, dark tunnel.
Mhm.
They don't know how to do that. I'm hoping passing the message on. Hopefully they'll read the book. It's not very expensive. I don't want it to be expensive. I want it to be affordable for people because
Yeah,
it's about the message. It's not my story.
yeah,
Well, maybe in some ways it is. It's a learning curve for me, and I'm imparting that wisdom, but it's really the higher ups message.
yeah. Now you've mentioned higher power, higher persons. To me, it's all fine. I mean, I understand spirituality when it's spoken of by the way you are, presenting it. What's your view on religion?
Well, religion is a great way to meet like-minded people. It gives a sense of community. And many of the world religions are absolutely have wonderful philosophies. However, ego gets involved, and there are some religions that want to put themselves between you and your higher power. And that's where I have an issue.
Hmm.
That's not everybody has access to their own higher self. No one needs to give them the energy. No one needs to tell them how to reach it. They can do it themselves. Now, if they need help, that's a different story. If they want help, whether religion helps them to get there or not, that's great. I personally am not a religious person. I was raised Episcopalian, but I'm really not a religious person. I think some of the Bible is wonderful. Some of the sayings are great. I think a lot of it's misleading.
Hmm.
It doesn't allow a person to grow within their own growth that they need to because they want you tied to religion. Like I said, many of the world religions have so many wonderful sayings,
Yeah,
but ego comes into play then.
yeah. I heard just recently that we're the only species on this planet that enjoys scaring ourselves. So why do you think we like scaring ourselves? That sounds like we want to have fear.
It gives an endorphin high to some people,
Yeah, I guess.
and they're looking for that constant high.
Yeah.
And they do more and more extreme things to get it because one high satisfies itself, then it goes to another, then it goes to another, and it gets more extreme.
Does it get further and further away from love?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What do you make of sociopaths? People who are not compassionate, have no empathy. Are they like devoid
Well,
devoid of love?
everybody has a little bit of spark of light in them. You can't extinguish that. That's
Okay.
not possible. They can try, but they can't. These people are just so deep into fear. Now, I'm going to probably go a little outside of the realm of reality here, but there are love beings and there are less than love beings. And some of these psychopaths are listening to those less than love beings because they want to create fear here. They want to keep the population um, suppressed. And if you don't follow your higher guidance, then you're going to go more into fear. And being a psychopath gets you attention. It gets you, you know, gives you a boost
Mm,
of power, strength, the wrong power, the wrong kind of strength, but it gives you a boost.
I guess so. You've written this one book. Now it's inspired you. Are you thinking of writing perhaps a second one?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I sat down to write a blog on kindness, and it ended up being 3 pages long. And I thought it's way too long for a blog. I like to keep them kind of short, you know? And I went, I guess I've started the second book. The second book will be different than this book. There will still be answers, maybe 20 or more, defining in a little more detail some of the other emotions that didn't get into the first book. But then there's going to be questions and a whole lot of questions. And there'll be a little bit of myself stories of how some of these questions came about. Um, And it gives you an opportunity to think about these questions, because there are going to be some different ones. There's not going to be your normal, how do you feel? That I don't care about that crap, you know. That isn't going to be that type of questions. They're going to be things that make you think deep. It's like just the other day, I said to my husband, how do you want to be remembered when you die? I'm going to be dead. I don't care. And I said, no, what do you want people to say about you when you die? I don't care. I'm dead. I said, this is about loving yourself. You need to think about this. That's going to be one of the questions in the book. How do you want to be remembered? What do you want people to say about you? Well, it's a good question.
Yeah.
It's not one that people think about, but it gives you pause to think and
Yeah.
say, how do I want to? I mean, I know how I want to be remembered. I want to be remembered as a kind, sweet person.
Sure.
Simple.
So how are sales for you for this book?
They're just okay so far.
Mm.
I'm not exactly delivering a popular message.
Oh, I don't
I'm
know about
not
that.
doing well.
You know,
Um,
if you can do some speaking engagements in bookstores, and you're bound to get people's attention just by the things you're saying. I think what you're saying is what people are wanting to hear. I think you'll have a big audience for your message for sure. Yeah,
yeah, well,
you need to get out there and start speaking.
I, I liked hibernating for such a long time,
Yeah, I
most of
know.
my
I know.
life, and now I can't do that anymore. It needs to change. The message needs to get out there.
Yeah, pandemic's over, and we can get out there and do our thing again.
Share the wisdom of the ways.
That's right.
I just made that up, by the way.
Okay, cool. Cindy, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. It's been so much fun. This is a great topic.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, for helping me share the message.
You're welcome. Now you take good care of yourself then.
You too.
And that's our show for today. If you like what I do here on Tell Me About Your Book, then please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to ring that bell for future notifications. And if you are a self-published author, I would really like to speak with you. Until such time, keep on writing and be kind to one another.